Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the channel. I wanted to just hop on this morning and make a quick guide for this character in Marvel Rivals, Cloak and Dagger. I've been playing a ton of this character recently, and they've been a whole lot of fun, and I just wanted to make sure that, this character can be really daunting, especially as a new player just stepping in, but nonetheless, a shit ton of fun. So I'm just going to go kind of quickly through the abilities real quick and just kind of work through the tips too that I've learned as I've played this character a little bit more, and we'll go from there. So you're probably looking at like 90+% accuracy on this character whenever you play it, because all of your auto attacks do actually home on your light form. So you do have your light form and your dark form. I'll be referring to them like that just so it's not confusing. But your auto attacks in light form do track your target. So as you can see, there's that little extra cursor on top of them. You can even like click way out here. Like my cursor is nowhere near my ally, but it's still healing them, which is pretty crazy. Same thing goes for enemies. I can have my cursor way over here and still hit, which is why I said that your accuracy should be kind of crazy on this character. The thing that doesn't actually home is your shadow auto attack. So it's just kind of this shorter range. It does not reach nearly as far. It's about 20 meters, something like that. And you just kind of steady beam. But even that is really, really easy to hit. So those are your auto attacks. They do actually bounce off walls in this form as well, which is really cool. So you can actually, if you angle it right, you can bounce them off walls to hit people. So if you're just an absolute gamer and you want to bounce stuff off of corners and hit people, more power to you. That's definitely going to come with time, because this still is a very new game. Your auto attack, another thing to note too, is that your auto attacks will lock on from a certain distance, but upon reaching a certain distance, I think it's about 50 meters or so, they don't actually lock on, but they do still hit. So as you can see, I'm still getting hit markers on this bot way over here. You still get hit markers, but once you get a little bit closer, that's when they lock on and you start doing that. Another thing to note too is that when you're in your healing spec, or your light form I should say, you can actually see the range on so there's like this little blue ring right here that shows up on the ground. That's the range that my healing will bounce from this target. So these two are obviously close enough, so therefore I'm healing 2 targets with each auto attack. Which is really nice. But just as like a general indicator, if you're with people on a call or something like that, and they're standing just outside that radius, and you just really need to heal a little bit more, definitely mention that to them and say that you kind of know the range, and so they have a good idea and they can stand a little bit closer to each other. The last little note about auto attacks is that, let's say I have 7 shots left in my clip, or whatever you want to call it, mag. And you actually switch to your shadow form and you switch back, it reloads it. So I still have 12 out of 12. We'll shoot a few more, switch to Cloak, come back, have 12 out of 12 again. So you don't ever have to worry about coming out of your shadow form and not actually having anything to press to heal allies. So moving on to so your left shift is just your form swap. That's pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory. Like I mentioned, it switches the auto attacks, that sort of thing. And then moving on to our right click. So our right click is in this form, it's a little healy bubble. You throw it on the ground, heals things. Big, huge, massive. In our shadow form, I believe it's untargetable and invulnerable for a very, very short amount of time for allies. So you can just kind of pop this and your allies go invisible. They don't take any damage. As you can see, he dodged that auto attack there, which is pretty cool. You can definitely time it really, really well, and dodge things like the shark ult, because he just eats everybody like a little freak. Definitely try and use it like that, because you can dodge some really impactful abilities with it if you time it right. But usually if you're in like your light form and you see something happening and you switch and then you try and activate it, there is a little bit of a delay, so that's going to be a little bit more of a skill cap thing. The thing I've noticed on this character too is that a lot of people just start dropping really, really quickly. There's a good amount of, if you're playing against a good team, there's a lot of damage that goes out, so sometimes you'll need this constant healing. So something I like to do is just throw this healy thing on the ground, switch to shadow form, and then start rocking and rolling, because my allies are staying top that entire time. And then once it wears off, you can go back and start healing again. So that's kind of a niche thing to do, but it definitely helps, especially if you're getting like an Iron Fist or a Wolverine or a Black Panther or something is on you. You can throw this down, get in your shadow form, and it'll keep you alive for that little split second where you can't do anything, so that you can cloak and run away. Something I didn't mention too about the little invulnerability cloak, your right click, is that you can actually go up with it. So usually you're kind of stuck on the ground, but if you use your right click and hold spacebar, you can actually go up with it, which is really important, especially when you're getting sent by some melees and it's just really hard to get away. So the last ability, or the second to last ability, is your E. Your E is just a little wall thing. So when you're in shadow form, it's a shadow wall, puts a damage amp on the enemy and does some damage. And then when you're in your light form, it just heals. So that's really, really good. You can. They also don't share a cooldown as well. So you can use one and then immediately switch to the other form, use the other one. It's really, really nice. So you can just use your heal wall, switch to shadow, use your other wall. And you can see those cooldowns actually on the bottom right of the screen, right above your ultimate, which a lot of people don't know. So even if you use any ability, actually, so I can use I can use my wall, I can switch to shadow, and then those two cooldowns will actually show up in the bottom right hand corner, 10 and 8 seconds respectively on those. So that's really, really good to know. So you don't just swap into a form and think you're going to use an ability and you don't have it up, because that would suck. The last thing that we can showcase here is just the ultimate. The thing that I didn't know actually until this morning was that you can ult from height and it will drop the damage pools. I guess so. Okay, backing up a little bit. Your ult drops damage pools on the ground, and it also heals allies, heals you. You're pretty much indestructible when you're using it, so definitely start using it offensively. You get in there, make people back up, use it to gain control of a cart. When people see you go in, they're a little bit more confident. Use it something like that. But something I didn't know was that you can use it from height and it will still drop the pools on the ground. So you're not really in danger of dying, but if you are really scared of dying, you can always just like cloak, fly up, and then ult in midair. And as you'll see in a second, I'll actually drop all the damage pools right on top of these bots, and they will start taking damage. So we'll right click, hold spacebar. Right when it wears off, we'll ult, and we're getting hit markers and all that sort of stuff, and we're doing damage to all these bots because we dropped all the damage pools on top of them, which is really, really cool. And like I said, your ult makes you really, really tanky, so you're probably not going to die even if you just absolutely send it and go in. So go ahead and just use it like that. But that's Cloak and Dagger. Definitely try out this hero. Definitely one of the most fun healers that's in this game. I love playing healer, and nothing has been even close to the amount of enjoyment that I've had off this character. So good luck in Marvel Rivals, and have a good rest of your day.